You may even get tired of winning, and you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
What's going on, boys and girls? Welcome to the Sunday Labe. This is the last Labe for so many days. Oh man, I'm gonna miss you guys. Are you gonna miss me? I think you guys, you'll miss me, right? You won't just go on with your life without me, as if I never existed. I must know. Will you miss me? Slutty Milk is labing on a plane. That's how you know you're a true patriot. When you take the Labe, even on the plane with you. Oh man, it's been a rushed last few days. We are heading to the airport tonight as soon as I finish labing. The only thing we have left to do before we leave for, well, not the airport. We're going to go to a hotel by the airport. But the only thing we have left to do is do this Labe, and I have to pack. Haven't even packed yet. Put all my clothes in the washer this morning. And then we've been borrowing a neighbor's minivan for almost 2 months now. They refuse to let us pay them for it. They said this is a family. This is a Christian family helping another Christian family. Refused to let us pay for it. So it's been 10 weeks. We've had it for 10 weeks. And so wanted to make sure that we made it up to them somehow. So we got the oil changed in it, replaced the wipers, windshield wipers, because they were badly in need of replacement. And then we took the van to the car wash this morning and did we vacuumed it out rigorously. It looks like a minivan. It looks like a mom van that had, what is it, like 4 or 5 boys in it, and has been needing a good vacuuming. So we went and did a whole vacuuming, and I went through almost a whole pack of baby wipes, wiping down the whole thing. Oh, I wildly underestimated. The van has been through at least 9 kids, 7 boys total at least. So went and did a big clean of the whole thing. We vacuumed it all out, and then I took some baby wipes and wiped everything. So I've got this, like, I don't do this motion for a couple hours every day. So the backside of my left tricep is like in a permanent state of Charlie horse now. But got that all cleaned up and went and put a full tank of gas in it. And then came back and got the Labe together. Took a shower. Got the old hair washed. Haven't been able to do a nice wash on the hair recently. So got that all washed and going to do a Labe for you guys. Got a good one. And then we are off. We are headed down to the hotel. Stay at the hotel tonight. Probably get up about 4:30 in the morning and get to the airport by 5:30. Flight leaves at 6:30, and away we go. Up into the Pacific Northwest, where apparently things are kicking off. I got some videos for you guys here today on some KINO of Antifa getting cracked down on by federal agents. Some of the videos are from Chicago. Some of them are from Portland. So we'll go through that, and hopefully I won't run into any Antifa types while we're up there. We're gonna fly into Seattle, but then we're gonna go over to the west side, and we'll be out in the country where Antifa is not appreciated. A lot of people don't realize that what the Pacific Northwest is like. Once you get outside the immediate, like, urban centers, it is deep red. Many firearms owned, and they're culturally, they're in many ways they're kind of similar to like Appalachians. So we will be in red territory, despite the fact that we'll be deep behind enemy lines. Let me make sure before I forget. Sunday night, October 5, that will be the King Pilled Meetup in the general Seattle area. I'm kind of starting to lean toward maybe, we've got a lot of stuff we got to do while we're up there, so I'm kind of just leaning toward maybe just doing it in Silverdale, somewhere in there on the west side of the Puget Sound. But it'll depend. We got a little crew that's going to show up there. So if you would like to join us for that, do me a favor and send me a DM on Twitter at RealKingPilled, or if you do not have Twitter, then you can send me an email, realkingpilled@gmail.com, and let me know that you would like to join us, and I'll put you guys all into a little group chat, and we'll coordinate, figure out the best spot to meet up, and put a little face to username action going there. And then there will be one in Texas as well. I've heard from a number of you guys that want to make it there. Rumor has it that there's a possibility that Mr. Buck Johnson will be there, and maybe even Mr. Tommy Salmons. So if you would like to join us for that, it is going to be narrowing in on October 17, which is a Friday evening. It'll be in the probably South Austin area. So same deal with that. Send me a DM on Twitter or an email, realkingpilled@gmail.com, and I'll coordinate all you guys, and we'll pick a good spot to meet up and drink some alcohols and consume some nicotines and do the thing. So as you see on the streamer salary there, I didn't have time to get it updated. You guys already got me past the stretch goal. We're now minus 18 hours because of when I set the timeline on it. Apparently, it doesn't automatically cancel. That's something I have learned today. But if you would like to contribute to my streamer salary, if you would like to send me a bonus, please do, tips.kingpill.com. And any tips that come in on today's stream will be used to facilitate Eastwood's Bigfoot hunt while we are up there in Washington. We're going up for his birthday, his 5th birthday. It will be on October 2nd, so we're going to do a big family birthday party, and he wants to go hunt for Bigfoot while we're up there. So any tips that come in will today will go toward making his birthday and Bigfoot hunt that much better. So let me make sure I get the tip link in here. Tip link, and type it out. There we go. Did I type it right? I typed it right. We'll pin that. Thank you to anybody who wants to contribute to that great cause. Slutty Mook will also be at the Texas meetup. If you want to meet our wonderful word cell, the funniest man on the internet, he'll be there. So make sure you come to that. Okay, so what are we going to talk about today? We're going to be SIEG HEILIN with BRILYN. If you guys don't know what that is, so don't worry. We'll let you know. Got some KINO on the Antifa crackdown. We're going to talk about the potential government shutdown and how this may be a significant one if it actually happens, where the administration has set themselves up in a heads I win, tails you lose situation vis-a-vis the Democrats, and Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer are squalling and hollering because they don't like being in this what is it, like inevitable loser position, but they've got themselves there. So we'll talk about that. And then let's see, what were the other things I had here? Oh, we got some information on the indictments, the James Comey indictment, and rumors of more to come. I got a little video here from America's mayor, Rudy Giuliani, who believes that the little 2-page indictment of James Comey is going to unfold into the big RICO indictment, and will probably bring Comey, Brennan, and a whole bunch of others down. So we'll watch that, and then depending on how long it takes to get through all these videos and such that I have for you, then if we're not, and maybe if we're like under the 2-hour mark, then I've got this mold bug piece that I've been teasing for a little while about right-wing terrorism as folk activism. We may give that one a little read, but we'll see. I can't go too long on this lab because, let's see, what time is it? Got to look over the pit vipers. Almost 5 o'clock, so yeah, don't want to be out too late here because we still got to drive down to the airport and got to get to bed at a remotely decent hour for the sake of our little boy, because there is no way on God's green earth that he is going to sleep on the plane. Amy already got him some activities to entertain him on our, I believe it's a 4.5-hour flight. So let's get started. Let's rock and roll. First thing, we haven't done we've done a lot of Charlie Kirk appreciating, so I don't want to say that we haven't done any of our white boy summer, white boy appreciation slop content bits yet recently, but this one is this is a good one. Let's do this. So I've always been a big fan of beatboxing, This guy's taking it to a whole nother level. This guy recreates the sound of an artillery near hit with shrapnel, debris, and all, using only his voice. And you might think, could it really be that good? Could he really do it that well? Believe me, it is that good. He does do it that well. Watch this guy. Or I should say, I guess, listen to this guy.
I'll see if I can do it. Maybe like in the water too.
That's going to be easy with the hotel pool tonight.
In a combat scenario?
So good.
I'll try water one more time. Big as cannonball. Hopefully that was it. Let me know, but go easy on me.
Man, incredible. What's his, I can't tell what his handle is at all, but Straight Buster says, I love this guy, he's a wizard. Do you actually know him before this video? Have you seen him before this? I'd love to know what his handle is. Be able to see some of the, is this like his specialty? That he just does, he does crazy things with his mouth? This is like a white boy's form of OnlyFans. They just do crazy thing with their mouths. They do shrapnel sounds and artillery hits and stuff. Look at my Tylenol American. Yeah. This guy's mom did us a great service by consuming all that Tylenol. Gunshots, airplanes. He does a great A-10 Warthog run. Oh man. What's his name? What's his handle? Do you happen to know? I would like to follow this man. What's his platform? Is this TikTok? If it's TikTok, then there's no hope. There's no way I'm ever going to follow someone on TikTok. The only time I ever open TikTok is if somebody sends me a link to include in the show. There's no way I'll ever get to it. But if he's on Instagram, maybe. If he's on X, I'm sure if he was on X, he probably would have gotten tagged. But that guy's incredible. Look at this. Charlie Kirk mural appears in Belgrade. Did you know Charlie played basketball for an all-Serbian team in Chicago after high school, and he was the only American, so they called him Kirkovic?
So Charlie Kirk mural appeared this morning in Belgrade, Serbia, and the story behind it is fascinating. Charlie once said that he played on an all-Serbian basketball team in Chicago back in the 2000s called the Illinois White Eagles. He was the only American on the team, so the guys gave him a Serbian nickname, Kirkovic.
I played on a Serbian basketball team, actually. My name was Sheva Krkovic.
This mural is based on an old blurry team photo. The jersey had the Serbian coat of arms on the heart. This is a proof that freedom and courage transcend borders, that when you stand for what you believe in, your story echoes far beyond your own country. You can find it just a minute's walk from the Belgrade Waterfront Gallery entrance. This is how Serbs pay tribute, by putting their friend Charlie Kirkovic forever on this wall. So
God bless our based Serbs, man. Eastern European basketball players, they know how to show out. Charlie Kirk is an international phenomenon. I read something about him, and I apologize. I've been kind of scattered the last several days, so I didn't save it, and I don't know who it was that said it, but apparently he was talking about how every time he went to the UK, it was either the UK or Germany. One of those, I won't say it. I was going to say shithole country, but I don't want to rub it in. One of those countries, he said he was always talking about how he wanted to get himself deported from the country. So he was trying to be as transgressively, blatantly obvious about his opposition to mass immigration and Islam, enough that he would actually get himself deported out of there. He was always trying, never pulled it off. The lore grows. The legend that is Charlie Kirk. Speaking of Charlie Kirk, we have a candidate BRILYN Hollyhand. I'm sure some of you guys have seen this. If you're on X, you guys definitely have been seeing the stuff about BRILYN Hollyhand. But if you're not, allow me to introduce you to BRILYN Hollyhand. First of all, from Jason Rink here, a great friend of the show, one of our powerful patriots. Who is BRILYN Hollyhand? Well, we have exclusive footage here of his origin. How did BRILYN Hollyhand wind up becoming an international phenomenon? Well, we've got video of it right here. You can see for yourself.
Sir, it's ready. He will be our greatest ally in our fight to control the narrative.
Made in a lab alongside George Droid. So he sounds exactly like he looks. This was posted September 27th. He says, a month ago, a transgender shot up a Catholic school. He says all the stuff that he said in the video. I'm going to play a couple videos for him and then have a little commentary. And then I have a call to action for you guys. We have marching orders on what we must do with Mr. BRILYN Hollyhand, political commentator.
Well, we don't have to live like this, Kevin, is what I want to be really clear. It was just a few weeks ago that horrible shooting happened at the church in Minneapolis. It was 2 weeks ago that the horrible stabbing happened in the light rail train in North Carolina. And now we have Charlie Kirk being assassinated. We don't have to accept political violence. We don't have to live in a country where this is normal. We can love each other. We can actually have conversations with each other. What we have to do is make America talk again.
Ooh,
we have to be having civil discourse.
What a banger. Make America talk again. That's what we've been missing. We've been missing the talking. We just got to make America talk again, you guys. So says Lindsey Graham Jr.
Champion on college campuses, just like Charlie did, by actually having a free exchange of ideas. You didn't see the right, after Charlie's assassination, go and burn down Wendy's and loot CVS's. We actually started talking to each other more. We got down on our knees and prayed. That is how we save this country going forward, Kevin, not the way of the left with more violence.
I'm so glad you said that.
Listen how he says that. Violence.
How we save this country going forward, Kevin, not the way of the left with more violence.
Violence.
I'm so glad you said that, because the contrast, Emily, could not be more stark. And it's such an important message to get out to Gen Z, because you're not just the next generation of leaders. We have to connect with them and let them know that you don't have to silence people you disagree with. They can have their opinion, you can have yours.
But just note this part
Horrible
here.
stabbing happened in the light rail train in North Carolina.
Watch his face here when he talks about Charlie Kirk being assassinated.
And now we have Charlie Kirk being assassinated. Horrible stabbing happened in the light rail train in North Carolina. And now we have Charlie Kirk being assassinated.
Look at that face. And now we've got Charlie Kirk being assassinated. Oh, my big opportunity. Charlie Kirk got assassinated. Now this tweet here cracked me up. Oilfield Rando said, I never gave Charlie Kirk a shot and I massively regret it. So I'll give Chet Chettering Chetsworth IV a listen. Why not? If he sucks, I've lost nothing. And look at this. Look at this video here. The dude is in a private jet. And just listen.
What's up, America? BRILYN Hollyhand here, about 30,000 feet up. We are on the way to Arkansas. So everybody in line at the University of Arkansas to kick off my 10-stop campus tour. We are coming to you right here, right now. Stay in line. We have gotten a third room, as we have sold out this campus stop 3 times. But we are coming to you. We will fit you in. Students will get priority.
Fit you in. I'll bet you'll fit you in.
I cannot be more excited. We are back. We are on the road. We're coming to you one conversation at a time. If you're not at the University of Arkansas, we're coming to a campus near you soon. So check out my tour dates. We'll see you super soon.
So he posted this, got dragged. Look at that, 37.3 million views. And here's his follow-up. Okay, I hear y'all. LOL, glad the keyboard warriors are well. Yesterday, I went from English class to a campus speech 10 hours away. A hometown friend offered to help me get there because I couldn't afford it. I'll keep showing up to do the hard work on campuses, and I hope y'all do too. Ah, yes, a hometown friend offered his private jet to fly him from English class to a campus speech. He it was totally just the epitome of made in a lab. And as Wit points out here in the chat, he got ahead of me. He says, y'all saw how his dad made his fortune, right? Low-income housing paid for by us. That's exactly what it is. His dad and his grandpappy have a real estate empire built on Section 8 housing. That's what paid for this private jet. And their shamelessness really knows no bounds. So look at this. Interest over time in BRILYN Hollyhand, who is a podcaster. I'm pretty sure he's the guy that I mentioned a couple of weeks ago that had started his podcast and he was like 8. I don't know. There's so many creatures like this, but I'm pretty sure it was him. He's had a podcast since he was like really young. And he's also a best-selling author. He wrote a book. So here is interest in BRILYN Hollyhand over the past 5 years. Look at that. Little bit of a spike up here. A couple of beep, bleep, 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 pew. The definition of astroturfed. He has 210,000 followers. He had 0 engagement prior to September 10th. America didn't know they needed this particular conservatwink at all until the day Charlie Kirk was shot. And now he's on a 10-city tour in his private jet. This is from Bennett's Phylactery. Yeah, so even Antonio Brown knows exactly what's going on here. Antonio Brown quote tweeted that and said, "We're not going back to whatever this is." I really like to know the story behind the connection between Antonio Brown and the administration, because I think that there are people in the administration who are close to him. He has a connection there somehow. And yes, the wide receiver. This is the absolutely insane CTE personified former NFL wide receiver who says, we're not going back to this, whatever it is. That means we need an obligatory...
Look at my African-American over here. Look at him.
Yes. Antonio Brown stole that from Patrick Casey. Did he really? Did Antonio Brown... Does Antonio Brown follow Patrick Casey? That would be very interesting to know. If Antonio Brown is following our guys. Yeah, BRILYN Hollyhand is not going to be getting Cracker of the Day anytime soon. So Mystery Grove said, hearing from a reliable source that Hollyhand actually barely knew Kirk at all. What BRILYN here has been selling himself as is that he was mentored by Charlie Kirk. That was one of the first things he came out and said, I was mentored by Charlie Kirk and I'm ready to step in and fill his shoes. He says, hearing from a reliable source that Hollyhand actually barely knew Kirk at all and didn't work with him behind the scenes. And that his media people just made up the lie that he was a Kirk protege to capitalize on the murder. Even more cynical than I initially thought it was. And someone else in the replies said, yeah, Bricksuit here said, did you know that Charlie never reposted or replied to him on Twitter? Not one mention. No connection whatsoever. He's a total throwback. This was Paul Ryan, the Paul Ryan GOP. Would have made this guy a national sensation. He would have been the next big thing. Just want you to stop and consider for a moment just how far we've come. It's genuinely remarkable that they have to blatantly astroturf the guy to get him any sort of an audience whatsoever, and it's very obvious what they're doing. Here's him at his one of his first campus tour speeches.
Thank you so much for having me. I am so honored to be here, and I'm so excited to officially kick off our One Conversation at a Time tour on your beautiful campus. When we planned this all out, I wanted this to be the first stop. I wanted to be here. I wanted to be with you, and this worked out perfectly. And it looks like we've got a full room, so I think we chose pretty wisely. So it's genuinely an honor. And I want to say thank you to each and every one of you before we get started, because I'm a freshman at Auburn. I understand the strains in your time commitment. I understand all of the insane things that you could be doing tonight. You've got homework. There's probably some parties going on campus. You got to get ready for the weekend and whoever y'all play on Saturday. But genuinely, you took the time to be here. So thank you, thank you, thank you. From the bottom of my heart, if you don't hear anything else tonight, thank you for being here. Thank you for kicking off this tour with me. It is an honor to share this experience with you.
if you didn't hear anything, if you don't hear anything else tonight, just hear thank you. And what the hell does that even mean? You show up for this speech, and the one big thing that you should take away from this speech is thank you. And then here's where it becomes really clear. Here's where it becomes really clear exactly where he's coming from.
What we're seeing going on right now across college campuses.
And if you can watch this, if you're just listening to this later on or something, if you can watch this clip, go to the King Pill Substack, click on the one from Philip Lead, the tweet from Philip Lead that starts, "This may be the most transparent psyop to ever take place in the American right." Watch this video because you've got to see his body language here.
Is all over the country, specifically Yale and Columbia. They're getting shut down and overrun by these anti-Jew protesters, these pro-Gaza protesters, these terrorist sympathizers. That's what they are. Let's call it out for what it is. It's disgusting. It's vile. It's inhumane. Listen, the Democrat Party is being radio silent on this. Why? Because these are their own supporters. And in the case of Ilhan Omar, her actual daughter out there standing in the picket line and protesting this. It's disgusting. And they should be calling it out. It's pretty easy to come on and say, hey, we're pro-Israel. We're pro-Jewish people. We're pro-America. It's that simple. But instead, the Democrats are supporting this anti-Israel message being spouted by their supporters out there in Columbia and Yale. And they're supporting this Death to America chant by letting this continue on. They've got to put a stop to this. On the other hand, Republicans are pro-Israel, we're pro-America, and we're pro-protecting Jewish citizens not only in Israel, but across the world, even here in America. That is our stance. It couldn't be more clear, and their stance couldn't be more disgusting. They've got to act fast, and they need to speak out now.
He is just the spitting image of Lindsey Graham. It's almost eerie. I would believe that. I want to see pictures of Lindsey Graham when he was a kid, when he was this age. Did they just clone him? He sounds like him. He talks like him. Has the same what do you call the same like meter to his voice? Thank you, BB. Very cool. Yeah. Is this a Lindsey Graham clone? And I just got to say, that whole like rocking back and forth thing, this is not the first time that I've seen, those who know, they know. This is not the first time that I've seen someone very upset about anti-Semitism who also makes a habit of rocking back and forth. There's a deep cut for some of you. Now, I think that we've got a tremendous opportunity here, actually. I tweeted about this a couple days ago, that we've already seen how this game can work. There was this character, this guy who appeared on the internet. Now, he wasn't trying to pass himself off as, Mr. GOP. He was kind of actually the opposite. But he came up as a poster, really tried to make a name for himself, extremely soy, ran for office, and got memed. Got memed relentlessly. Had his run for office spoiled by the fact that the online right decided that they were going to embrace him. Ironically embrace him and treat him as one of theirs. I'm speaking, of course, of Mr. Will Stancil. We already have the Will Stancil playbook out there. And we know how that ended. That ended with Will Stancil being raped by Mecha Hitler. So, I propose, here's your marching orders. I propose that we fully embrace him. I wish that I could give credit to whoever said it first. I think it might have been Perry Abbasi, said SIEG HEILIN with BRILYN. This is perfect. Yes, we are SIEG HEILIN with BRILYN. Start making edits of him with Erica's and Son and Rad's behind him. Fully, it's right there. It's right there. He's descended from the plantations, and he's here. He's the subversive. He's our agent who we've sent out there to have broad appeal, to just speak to the American people and seem completely inoffensive. But really what he's going to be doing is he's going to be putting the Africans back on plantations. That's what we recruited him for. He's our guy through and through. Yeah, meme him into schizo edits with Son and Rads. This is exactly what to do with this guy. And I'm not saying this like just for the fun of it, like it would be a great meme campaign. No. Our best meme warriors. Time to show up. Time to show up. Turn him, to completely embrace him. Don't get really mad and yell at him and talk about him being a psyop and all of that. It's so obviously true you don't even need to say that. No, instead, we embrace him. He's our Manchurian candidate. We went and we recruited a Southern plantation aristocrat, made him look completely inoffensive. He's got this charming down south, down home drawl, but secretly he's in our meetings with us. When we're planning how we're going to put all the libs into concentration camps, BRILYN's the one who's going to do it. We're SIEG HEILIN with BRILYN. Yes, the meme war of 2016 is going to look like Child's Play. Mount up, Patriots. We got another meme war brewing. We got to do it. We got to make this happen. Yeah, Leo from Django. Perfect. Yes, that's exactly the type of meme that I'm talking about. Leo from Django Unchained. Leonardo DiCaprio. I can't remember his character's name, but I know that we've got the best memers on the planet. That's what you do with him. We want to explode his profile. We want everybody to know about him. We want him to become a national sensation. And we want his career to be permanently affiliated with Nazi imagery and the South will rise again. Put Confederate flags behind him. Just absolutely ensure that no matter where he goes, go to his events. Do the Groiper War thing. What the Groipers did with Charlie Kirk, do that with him. And hit him with questions. Like I don't know, like asking him when he's, like when we're going to start locking all the blacks up and making him pick our cotton and stuff. Like ask him those questions, force him to answer those in public. There's two ways that this can go. Either he just shuts it down. He's not Charlie Kirk. He doesn't have the balls. He doesn't have the brass knockers that Charlie Kirk did. So he's not going to just stare that kind of thing down. Either he's going to shut it down completely and no longer do this at all, or you're going to basically force him. If there's the slightest bit of humanity in there at all, you might be able to actually recruit him. He's young. He has lots of time to develop. I really highly doubt that will happen, but there's the possibility. But you make it so that it is indisputable that he owes his celebrity to the meme warriors on the internet, turning him into a thing. We will own his career. And deep down inside, no matter what, he'll know it. He'll know it wasn't daddy's money that put me here. It was the frogs on the internet that permanently slandered his name and ensured that everybody knew about him at the same time. And so, I say, we are, from this day forward, we're SIEG HEILIN with BRILYN. Let's play our first Erica of the day. Auf der Heide blüht ein kleines Blümelein. Und das heißt Erika. Yeah, getting to look like a plantation owner wouldn't be too hard, because he already does. And I got to say, with all of this too, this goes back to a thing I've talked about a lot, that do this stuff with joy, man. Like, there's no reason, don't have this, we still have this like kind of beaten wife syndrome thing where, you see something like this and it's like, oh, there you go, here's another psyop. But it's so obviously a psyop. You don't have to be mad about it. Laugh at it. Make fun of it. Mock them and humiliate them relentlessly. I think he's saying there was something where he said like we should be joyful warriors. I hear that and I just want to put the little rainbow emoji right next to it. We're joyful warriors. We must be joyful warriors as we undertake Meme War 2.0, Groiper War 2.0. To transform him into a member of the Aryan Brotherhood. Meanwhile, speaking of TPUSA, here's what Gabe Guidarini is saying. He says, this is what millions of young Americans are demanding. Halt immigration. End outsourcing. End foreign visa programs. No foreign wars. End foreign lobbying. End left-wing terrorism. End the cultural decay. Any movement not built upon these principles will fail. This is what I'm talking about. Look at my spaghetti American, Mr. Gabe Guidarini. We are going to continue watching you very closely. I like what I'm seeing coming out of this guy. Orrin McIntyre says, encouraging to see large organizations like TPUSA take up this banner. Increasingly clear that the most cancerous aspects of Con Inc. are generational. Young patriots want a better country for their children, not ideological obsession. Gabe Guidarini, if this is what the, BRILYN here is a TPUSA product. Like, he's been affiliated with TPUSA. But one thing you got to realize is that TPUSA was in the business of recruiting influencers. So there's all sorts of different people who are affiliated with or have been affiliated with TPUSA who have all different manner of ideological background, or you know, many of them are just grifters. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. So my guess is that BRILYN Hollyhand likely is not going to be affiliated with TPUSA for much longer, given that especially if it's true that he's just transparently grifting, making up this story about him being mentored by Charlie Kirk and transparently grifting. I really highly doubt that that Erica is going to take well to that. So I would imagine that it's not going to be around. He's not going to be around like that a whole lot longer. But the especially with someone like Gabe Guidarini there, can you imagine like someone like Gabe Guidarini with his rhetoric and BRILYN Hollyhand with his rhetoric both existing in the same organization at the same time? One of them's going to win out. And I really highly doubt that it's going to be BRILYN Hollyhand. Shout out to Mr. Sue here. He did the work. Let me pull this over. Get this. Look at this. Look at this. Is BRILYN Hollyhand a clone of Lindsey Graham? There's BRILYN. There's young Lindsey Graham. If anything, BRILYN is he's like the upgraded version. Young Lindsey Graham was, look at those, like, the bags under his eyes. He's got the, what's the term? I just forgot the name for it. It's like a Japanese term. Where you can see whites on three sides of the eyes. What's this term? This is a useful one to keep in mind. Sanpaku. Sanpaku eyes. Yes, thank you guys. Sanpaku eyes. Young Lindsey Graham had that. Let me grab, there's this one graphic that I've seen around a lot that is useful for this, because this is something that, especially in your day-to-day life, if you see this is something to watch out for. Here we go. Let me get this graphic and pull it up. Is this the first Pinterest link we've ever used on the Labe? Oh, come on. Let me just... All right, let's do this. Okay, so... Sanpaku eyes is a Japanese term meaning three whites. If the white of a person's eyes are visible either below or above the colored portion, or iris, that person is said to have Sanpaku eyes. So... if there's whites below one iris only, that means stress in life somewhere, depth perception and peripheral vision is off, they're accident prone. If you have whites showing below the iris, that person's under a lot of pressure. Be aware of the situation. These eyes want to unload. Now, if you have whites below the eyes and half of the iris visible, be very cautious. Extreme pressure. These eyes are hiding something. Pretty similar there. Got the whites visible below it, and his eyes are kind of a little narrowed. Then if you have whites below, half of the iris showing, and they're glassy-eyed, be very cautious. Extreme pressure. These eyes are hiding something. And then, actually, no, I was reading the wrong ones here. So that one, if you have the whites below the eyes, half of the eye is visible, that's be very cautious, extreme pressure, these eyes are hiding something. When you have the whites below, half of the iris showing and glassy-eyed, like this one here, don't walk, run away. These eyes have psychotic tendencies. And if you haven't seen this before, now that you have, keep this in mind when you encounter someone. If you encounter someone and you're kind of getting the heebie-jeebies a little bit, look at their eyes and see if you can identify something like this. I've done this in the past. That's when you'll notice this and you'll realize why you're getting the heebie-jeebies. The last one here at the bottom, where you have 3 whites visible. So 3 whites, both sides and the top. This is the eyes of a psychopathic killer. These eyes want to gain power of you. And probably the most prominent and easy example of that is, let me see if I just saw it here a minute ago. Where'd it go? Here you go. This is the easy one. Is it actually? Yeah. There you go. That is those eyes on the bottom. Charles Manson. 3 whites and you're out. Yeah, there you go. Yep. So, little tip for you guys. If you ever see the Sanpaku eyes, here's your little breakdown of how to know which one means what. And it kind of is obvious. Like, if you just focus on one of these sets of eyes, you can tell what emotion is being conveyed here. Obviously, this is a psychopath. This is AOC eyes right here. Anywho, all right. A little bit of a... Oh, you want me to zoom in on his eyes? There you go. Ugh. How's that for giving you the heebie-jeebies? All right. So, some updates on voting. Total national voter registration as of August 31st, 2025. This is in August. August changed by party. This is nationally. Republicans gained almost 44,000 votes. Democrats lost 55,000 votes. And then others gained 142,000 votes, which is kind of interesting. The country removed roughly 120,000 voters last month through a roll cleanup, primarily in Florida and Georgia. And the Democratic edge over Republicans dropped by 0.09%. Total change in partisan voter registration since Election Day 2024. Republicans have lost 105,000 voters, registered voters. Democrats have lost 1.3 million registered voters. Others have lost almost 300,000. So Republicans have lost the least. Democrats have easily lost the most. There's a Google Doc here if you want to go dig into all the details on it. The month-over-month changes since Election Day on the National Voter Registration sheet. This is from Michael Prusser. Ben Braddock says, interesting how invalid voters are registered Democrat at a 13-to-1 ratio. The more time goes on, the more obvious it becomes that the only reason that there are any elected Democrats, like in any substantial number, is just purely because of voter fraud. The party literally only exists because of fraud. It is an entirely fraudulent political party. If it was not for fraud, it would not exist as a party. Because it would not be capable of winning elections. You might have an organization that's named, has the name Democrat Party, but it would have a totally different platform. Think about the downstream effects of this. The number of people who have been so thoroughly and utterly brainwashed by power, because that power was obtained fraudulently. So they obtained power through rigged elections. Them holding that power means they say things. They control the Department of Justice. They control law enforcement. They control the Department of Education. They control the universities, all this stuff. Brainwashing people, enculturating people into believing these things are real and legitimate and valid, which then has a self-perpetuating effect. The vast majority of people who believe Democrat propaganda do so because they're normies. This is the ordinary mainstream thing to believe. But the only reason it became the ordinary mainstream thing to believe is because of voter fraud. Because they rigged elections to get themselves into power. And now so much of that is being unwound. I'm not going to say, oh, it's all good from here. Don't have to worry about anything anymore. Obviously, there's still plenty to worry about, and they're still going to try to rig elections. But these sorts of numbers are massive. Democrats have lost 1.3 million registered voters since the last election. In, 10 months? And 10 months, they've lost 1.3 million registered voters. What was Trump's margin of victory was like 3 million votes, something like that. So they've lost, again, half as many as his margin of victory. Which begs the question to me, what this guy says here, could someone who is much smarter than me look at these numbers and explain to me how it's a surefire thing that Republicans are going to get swept in the midterms? Jason here says basically because our House majority is so slim right now and because we do worse when Trump is not personally on the ballot. But you're right, the culture is continuing to shift more conservative, so while we will likely lose the House, it's not obviously a blowout. I don't even think that they're going to lose the House. I'm going to keep calling this, and maybe I wind up being wrong. And if I wind up being wrong, then so be it. I wind up being wrong, and I'll say, oh man, I was wrong. But I don't think that the Republicans are going to lose the House. I think they're going to gain seats. Given all the things. We've gone through this so many times. I won't run through all the details now. But given all the things that are happening, I don't think the Republicans are going to lose the House. I think they're going to gain seats. Gerrymandering, census, voter fraud, arrests. We'll have more on the major arrests here coming in just a minute on the show here. Defunding so many of their operations, especially if left-wing terrorism continues to escalate, which is inevitable. Again, I'll say that again. If you didn't listen to that, listen to some of the last shows where I talked about this. It does not matter what the administration does. Left-wing terrorism is going to continue to escalate. So there is no, like there's this thing today, this Mormon church in Michigan that was shot up and lit on fire by this guy. Information's still breaking on that, so I'm not going to really talk about it here today, but that sort of thing. The right take when you see that is not, oh, this is happening because the administration chose not to do anything. That's a gay and retarded take. Those things are going to keep happening. There is nothing the administration can do to prevent those individual instances from occurring. Anything that the administration does is going to escalate them. Anything the administration does not do is going to escalate them. They are going to escalate because we are on that timeline now. The time to prevent them was years ago. So you need to brace yourself now. You need to steel yourself that there is going to be more left-wing terrorism. There are going to be more assassinations. More people are going to senselessly die because left-wing terrorism is a key tenet of the Democrat Party and their international funders. And any attempt to crack down on that or prevent that is going to cause more of it. Now, for the low IQ out there, that sentence should not be construed to mean, therefore don't do it. No, obviously, they need to keep cracking down. But the purpose of that cracking down is not to make sure that it never happens again. I mean, in the long run, yes, but not in the short term. There is nothing that anyone can do in the short term to prevent all left-wing terroristic violence. Because the left wing is pot committed to terrorism. That's the reason that they exist now. The more you corner them, the more you strip away their avenues to power, the more they're going to escalate the terrorism. So you need to be prepared to live in a world where terrorism is happening, domestic terrorism is happening on the regular. Because that's coming. It's already happening. We're living in it now. And it's not going to just suddenly stop. It's probably going to keep happening for another few years. No matter what the administration does. In fact, if they were to take like a maximal approach, you would probably get way more. The left-wing terrorism and senseless deaths and assassinations are baked into the cake. The only way out is through. It's going to keep happening. But the more that it happens, the more cause the administration has to escalate their own responses. And thus far, that's what they're doing. Got a tip here.
By a round for the Northwest boys.
Thank you, Wit. Illuminati boys, rise up. A $33 tip. What does it mean? What did he mean by this? Northwest boys, a round will be bought for you on Wit. Thank you, my man. Appreciate you. Also, let's play one of these.
Welcome to the Gulag. If you survive, you earn your freedom.
Thank you, Gaga, for resubscribing again. And also Tyler J has also resubscribed on Kick. Thank you, guys. Appreciate the continued support. And let's see who else is over here. Did I miss any others? Nope, that's it for now. Reminder that if you... there's many ways to support the show. Venmo, Cash App. I'm just king-pilled on both of those. Buymeacoffee.com/kingpilled. Thank you to all of you guys who have hit that up so far. And then if you would like to subscribe to Kick, it's much better than subscribing on YouTube because YouTube takes 30% of your subscription fees, whereas Kick only takes 5%. So subscribing on Kick is a good way to support the show and continue to boost the channel, hopefully to get me to the point where I can fully monetize. And also, if you're watching on Kick for the first time, and you would like to join the live chat, then you just have to follow the channel. Following is free. Follow the channel, 6 minutes. Wait for 6 minutes, and then you can join the chat. If you're watching for the first time, or if you just have not, if you've just lurked and you have not actually joined the live chat in the past, then do me a favor and just follow the channel and just send a message in the chat. I need 250 previous or 250 chatters.
Welcome to the Gulag. If you survive, you earn your freedom.
Blue Skittle, Patriot. Thank you for subscribing on Kick. Gotta get, let's see, we're at 194.
Welcome to the Gulag. If you survive, you earn your freedom.
Someone gifted subs. Hold on. They're gonna keep playing over and over again. Thank you for the gifted subs, Anonymous. I don't know who that was, but you gave one to the bot. Clanker got a sub again. Also, Spud Ruckus, Mr. Sue, Willing Always, and Blue Skittle. Thank you to whomever Anonymous is for gifting the subs. You are a patriot. Let's play you. Let's see here. Let's do a soundboard one that we haven't done in a while. Which one of these have we not done in a while? How about this one?
Why are you gay? Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.
That's such a good one. I need to play that more often. Yeah, we're at 194 out of 250 chatterboxers. Of course, I'm going to be out for the next 10 days, so we'll probably just have to pick this up where we left off. But if you have not chatted in the live chat in the last 30 days, then please do so. Try to keep the numbers boosted. Let's keep this show on the road. Keep going here. Mars Monkey says, where did you say the PNW meetup will be? I'm leaning toward just doing it on the west side, just in the Silverdale area. It's going to be Sunday, October 5th in the evening, but it might end up being kind of rough to try to get all the way over to the east side. We'll see. I don't know exactly what vehicles will be available, what our time will be. We'll be doing going to church in Paulsbo, and so I'm thinking might just do Silverdale, but once I put you guys all into a group chat, if too many people complain about Silverdale and would rather be over on the east side, then we can make the east side happen. But if you're on the east side, especially if you're coming from the north, it's a pretty easy ferry. Just like take the ferry across to Bainbridge Island and then drive down into Silverdale. Wouldn't be too bad. It might even be better than trying to make it through traffic in Seattle over down to. It would probably otherwise be somewhere like Auburn, somewhere in that general vicinity. So just make sure you contact me and let me know. I know you have already, Mars Monkey, but just contact me and I'll coordinate all of that once I get up there. Okay, continuing to press forward here. The Democratic mayor of Dover, New Jersey, James P. Dodd, has endorsed Republican Jack Ciattarelli. I'm assuming I'm pronouncing that right. Ciattarelli, another spaghetti American. A Democratic mayor has endorsed the Republican for New Jersey governor. That's the second Democratic mayor to endorse Ciattarelli in the last month. And from the polling that I've been seeing, it looks like we have a very legitimate possibility of getting a Republican governor of New Jersey. I said this in the past that I think by the time we get around to 2026 and maybe even, and especially by 2028, that I think states like New Jersey, maybe even probably not California, just given the sheer volume of the sheer level of fraud and corruption and everything there. But a lot of these states that have been long considered deep blue strongholds are really going to be up for grabs. So I think Pennsylvania is going the route of Florida. Michigan may be up for grabs in 2028. New Hampshire, I think, will almost certainly go red. Maine may go red. New Jersey, I think there's a very good chance that New Jersey goes red. Virginia may go red. It kind of seemed a little close for a little while in last November. Washington, there's the possibility that Washington and Oregon could, I don't think that they would go red, but they are definitely going to move that way. There is a tremendous amount of red in Washington. They're just, in terms of sheer numbers, they're just, the Portland and Seattle have such dense populations that are so deeply blue. But outside of those, it's like many of the cities in the country, outside the urban centers, it's very, very red. So it'll really depend a lot on some of these places, like in Washington and Oregon. The extent to which the Antifa stuff really kicks off is gonna be, I think it's gonna determine a lot, because I don't think the story is set in stone exactly how this is gonna go. But the more that they escalate there, the more justified the federal government is going to be in a major crackdown. And depending on the political capital that they can build and maintain, they may be able to start putting a lot of legal pressure on the political leadership in those cities. They're like deeply embedded strongholds like Chicago, Seattle, Portland. Their leadership is totally and completely on the take. And like openly terrorist sympathizers. They're going to have to be taken back. The question is whether it's going to happen now. Are we going to get a full boog over the next couple of years there? Or is it going to be drawn out and more of kind of a slow burn? But if you live in any of those states, now is the time to start really organizing in your local cities and counties and trying to get yourself or trusted members of your community elected into the lower level positions and start getting in there and taking over. That's what's really going to determine it, because the feds can crack down on the higher level people, but many of them have succession plans. Essentially, they've got more and more people ready to step in right behind them, and they've organized and built this entire culture of political organization there for so long that they've got to be infiltrated. So yeah, make sure everything possible is in play for Charlie's sake, says Straight Buster. That's exactly right. Pale Morning Dude says, just got back from upstate New Jersey. There was a caravan that drove through town with American flags and MAGA flags before Charlie's memorial. The responses from people in the town was surprisingly more Republican than I expected. And you know, the more that happens, the more that it will happen. Because there's a lot of people who are Republican or Republican sympathetic who live behind enemy lines, and they just know to keep their mouths shut and keep their heads down. But the more that people begin boldly stepping forth and declaring themselves, the more it will embolden others. And the more that it emboldens others, the more it will embolden still others. You start getting a preference cascade. You have to incentivize that preference cascade with the boldest, who are, whether it's because they're just simply they don't care, or they have the least to lose and they can begin to put themselves forth that way. Those ones have to go first, and then the next, and then the next, and then the next. And you get this cascading effect that once it hits a certain critical mass, then it accelerates very quickly, because the majority of the people who are just kind of ordinary, not very politically engaged in either way, they just sort of follow along with whatever is popular. And so the more that being Republican becomes popular in these places, the more that those sorts of people are just like, yeah, these people seem cool. I'll just go that way. It's going to take a lot, but you got to be tucked in for the long game here. Here's an update. I know a lot of you guys, I haven't been able to be super plugged in, but I did see people talking about this ICE officer who was relieved of duty after this incident here. I'll play the video for you, and then I have an update on this story. So this woman is apparently her husband was arrested and is going to be deported, and so this whole thing to me very much strikes me as a intentional op, given the number of cameras that are there positioned and ready to go. They kind of corner him down in this hallway, and she's doing the hysterical grieving mother routine, and here's what happens. Adios. So that's where it kicks off. But look at the position that he's in now. He's backed up. He's at the end of a hallway with an elevator, backed up against the wall. There's a whole bunch, you'll see when the camera pans around, there's a whole bunch of press here with their cameras. And she starts putting hands on him. Whether she is intending to grab for his gun or not, she is doing the actions that would be correspondent with grabbing for a gun. Which means he is she's fortunate she wasn't shot. If things have if this happens 6 months from now, after things have escalated further from where they are currently, there's a good chance that she actually gets shot. If you're putting hands on a law enforcement officer, especially if you've got him backed into a corner and you're kind of hysterical, and you put your hands down in next to his side like she did, this is now a gunfight. And he is perfectly within his rights to respond with serious force. Look at all the cameramen. Han Pritchard says the dude who filmed the incident was a German journalist from an outlet funded by the Open Society Foundation. Because of course. Because of course he was. Yeah, why all the cameras? This one woman here. How did she wind up being accompanied by all these cameras? Because this was an intentionally staged operation. Now, I saw a lot of people who said that this guy was fired. And he was not fired. He was relieved of his current duties, which is standard operating procedure for an officer who's involved in some sort of a use of force thing that has to be investigated. Basically, he's put on administrative leave while they're doing the investigation to see what happened and view all the camera angles and whatever else. Standard operating procedure. And Jack Posobiec reported today, this hasn't been officially confirmed, but I think it's pretty safe to say that Jack Posobiec's probably close enough to the administration now that if he's reporting something, I'm inclined to take it as true. We'll find out if it is if some other news comes out that says it wasn't true, but for now, I'm willing to take Jack Posobiec at his word. If it turns out that this is not true, and this was him doing a little fake news, then we'll just have to keep that in mind next time he makes a report. But he says, I am told this ICE officer has been returned to full active duty after a complete footage review, which shows he did nothing wrong. And I've seen already that the chimping types are wanting to take credit for this. Oh, if we hadn't chimped, then he would have stayed fired. Well, he wasn't fired in the first place. He was removed from his current duty station or his current task list while it's being investigated because there's some big scandal and everyone's turns into a big thing. This is standard operating procedure with law enforcement. We're going to remove him from duty, investigate, see if he did anything wrong. If not, put him back out, which is exactly what happened. Yes, let him know. Bet the officer knew that was coming and was fine with it. Yes. Now it's possible. I don't think that it can be completely ruled out that whomever removed him from that assignment while this investigation was happening, it's possible that there was the ability to not do that. Maybe it was cut and dry enough that if there was a reliable patriot as his immediate superior who made that decision, they could have just said, nope, we reviewed the footage, he's totally fine, not going to do anything. I think that's probably was a reasonable thing within the range of outcomes. So I do think that there's some utility in the chimp out here if it means highlighting that there are still subversives working within DHS, because I'm sure there are. I'm sure there are subversives in there. And it's possible that whomever chose to relieve him of his current duties was doing this as a way of trying to create a chilling effect on ICE, pun fully intended. And it's also possible that it's just someone who's neither subversive nor a patriot and is just kind of some ordinary bureaucrat and is just like going through the motions and following the ordinary course of duty. Oh, look, there was a use of force and it's all controversial and the news is reporting on it. So let's see what the manual says. Manual says, all right, put him on administrative leave for a couple of days while we investigate this. All right, sir, you're on administrative leave for a couple of days. We're going to investigate this. They investigate it. Nope, all good. All right, you're back out there again. Either way, whether it was someone just doing it because they had to, someone who's just doing it because this is the way things are done, or someone doing it because they're trying to be subversive. Either way, assuming that Jack Posobiec's report is reliable, this is a very good outcome. DHS fully has their officers' backs. You didn't do anything wrong? We're putting you right back out there. So if this was intended to have a chilling effect on ICE recruitment, which is what I suspect, then him going back out is good. Very good to see that they're going to keep their officers' backs. Sluttermilk says, don't they review cut and dry legit uses of force this way for cops all the time? Yeah, they do. So you'll see some of these, some of the body cam footage. It'll come out, and it's like, yeah, this is obviously a good shoot, but they will still put them on administrative leave and do the investigation, and then put them back on duty again. So ultimately, I think it's in many ways kind of a nothing burger, but it is good to see they've kind of gone through this process, and we see, okay, yeah, they're gonna have his back and put him right back out there again. They're not gonna cuck to him. If they would have fired him for this, that would have been a very bad thing. But at no point was he fired. He was just relieved of his current duties. They did a little investigation, and then they determined that he's good to go. Okay, you guys ready for a little bit of KINO? You ready to have some fun? I've got a number of ICE videos to show you guys. First couple here are in Chicago. This was, I think, I don't even know what today's date is. Today is the 28th. So I believe this was last night. It was either last night or the night before. But the setup here is you've got all these people who are outside this ICE facility in Broadview. There's a number of these videos that have been coming out. So you got all the protesters standing out here in front of the ICE facility, and then the boys show up. You guys better, yeah, my Trumps is acting up, says Trent Fearer. Yeah, you guys is, hopefully you're in a comfortable position. Hopefully you don't have anything heavy sitting on your lap right now, because, oh boy, these are fun.
All right, we are live outside of Broadview Detention Center here in Broadview, Illinois. Federal agents are opening the gate now.
Here they come. Bomb rush. Jesse Kelly's, I saw him tweet about this, and he asked how he could make that chick screaming into his ringtone. She's still going. What you don't realize is those screams are actually screams of arousal. Slutty says they're paying Patriots money to do this? This is a recruitment video. Tom Homan will pay you to bum rush the libs and beat them up. Sign up, boys.
Everybody's suffering right now. People are throwing up.
Patriots are making the libs puke in the streets and you're blackpilling? Cletus67 says, does this count as the lamentations of their women? Yes. Ford Fisher, who's a great follow, he's been pushing out a lot of these videos. He says, in the past decade of filming political protests, I've never seen as jubilant of an expression of joy in a law enforcement officer as this federal agent after several arrests were made at the anti-ICE protest last night in Broadview. Look at this patriot living his best life. Literally me. Look at this one. Katie Miller. We got to come up with a name for her. Get to work on that, boys. We got the Giga Jew, and we've got the bride of the Giga Jew. What should we call her? She needs a good name. Plot twist, that's Stephen Miller. Imagine Stephen Miller's just like, man, I gotta get me some. They put him in they got him all decked out in body armor with the gas mask on, and he's out there, yeah. The Giga Spouse, that's pretty good. The Giga Jewess. Giga Wife Jack. Giga Wife. I think Giga Spouse is pretty good. The Giga Spouse, Giga Mom, that's pretty good. Giga Mom. I don't know. You guys settle it amongst yourselves and let me know what you come up with. She says, I like my law enforcement fit and in shape, who while in full gear can outrun a loser criminal. Let's fucking go. Hear that, lads? You want to attract a high-value woman? Here's a high-value woman right here telling you exactly what she likes to see. Look at these boys running in gas masks. They're doing sprints in gas masks. Get him, boys! Got him! You guys keeping up on your cardio? Because, damn!
Stand by, going 15 on our road. Why is he being arrested?
Yeah, me behind the camera huffing and puffing. Join ICE/DHS for honor, glory, and women. Why is he being detained? Who cares? Back up.
Look at them. LUKASBORJA. Damn, I did literally nothing. He's just very upset. November 24th, 2003.
These videos are dark. Gotta change the shades.
Nope, just grab me.
Now, note these guys right here. The green hats. These are part of an organization called NLG, the National Lawyers Guild. They are a communist organization. They've got a long history as communist supporters and sympathizers. What they are is the reason he's telling them his information is because they're getting ready to try to get him out. They're a bunch of lawyers and people employed by lawyers who are there watching for police brutality and to get the information of all these people so they can immediately go and try to get them out. So this is something to keep an eye on. How many of these people who get arrested get released right away? Now, what's happening here, this is not local police arresting them. These are federal agents arresting them. So I don't know that this is necessarily going to proceed as it has proceeded in the past, particularly because if you remember from NSPM 7, I think it's National Security Priority Memorandum or something like that. The memo that Trump issued, recall that he directed the DOJ to maximally interrogate anybody who's arrested under any of these pretexts before you can even talk about a plea deal. They must be maximally interrogated within legal boundaries about about any organizers or sponsors of these activities. So we got to make sure. Here's a good thing for the all the anxious, neurotic chimp out enthusiasts out there. Keep an eye on reports about this, because I'm sure people like Andy No, Katie Davis Court, there's a number of these on the ground reporters. Brendan Gutenschwager, what a name, Gutenschwager. And I'm sure if any of these people are getting released, bailed out very quickly and easily, then these reporters, and Ford Fisher is another one, I'm sure they're going to be on it. So keep an eye on that. And when it does happen, just remember, the administration is doing a lot. President Trump himself, Pam Bondi, Stephen Miller, they do not have the bandwidth to be monitoring every single person who is arrested in every single place at every single time. So invariably, there is going to be someone. There's going to be subversives, whether it's in the DOJ or whether it's in the local police or whether they're DHS officials. This is a great opportunity to root out those subversives. Clearly, the intention of the administration is not to arrest these people and then immediately have them bailed out and released back out on the streets so they can go back and do it again. Clearly, that is not the plan of the administration. So if it's happening, that's because there are subversives within their midst. And this is a great opportunity to identify those subversives and get them rooted out. This is the utility of chimping. The utility of chimping is not screaming at the administration, treating them as a hostile actor that will only do stuff if you yell at them enough. The utility of chimping is keeping an eye on their blind spots. They're obviously going to have blind spots. They're not superhumans. I mean, except for Stephen Miller and Trump. But they're going to have blind spots. This is where the digital warriors, the patriots on the internet, can do some of this legwork for them. Make their job easier. Yes, Willing Always. Get your president 6. Keep an eye on this sort of stuff. And if it happens, if there are subversives within the DOJ, within DHS, local police, whomever it is, who are facilitating the process of releasing these people early, then send it up to the boss. Get it to the boss. Don't call him don't say that he's betraying you or that he's lazy and he doesn't care and whatever. That's retarded. That ensures that you don't get listened to. Be someone who the administration can value. Be someone worth listening to. Coordinate a chimp out to be like, hey, this one right here, this person is betraying your mandate. Get him out.
Just grab me. I didn't even fucking do it. I didn't even enter the street. Why is he being detained? Why is he being detained? Why is he being detained? Why is he being detained?
I wonder where they're going to show up with the bells. Start ringing the bells at them. Look at these two guys. See, patriots come in all shapes and sizes. Look at this monster over here, and you got a couple of little dudes. You got a couple of short kings out there doing their president's work.
I could not be more terroristic. Cowards! Fucking cowards! Cowards! November 24th, 2003.
What did he say?
Words! November 24th, 2003.
Warhawk, November 24th, 2003. Oh, so it's his birthday. I thought he'd said 2023, but no, 2003. So the dude's 21.
Detained by federal police illegally deployed in Green City to harass innocent, hardworking people. Suck up my nuts, bitch!
All they're doing by yelling at them like this is just irritating them and ensuring that they're even less, I don't know, gentle. Like, if they're just, imagine going to work every day and you're doing your job, you're having a grand time, and these people are just running, just standing around, just yelling, being annoying at you. You're gonna start looking for any pretext to beat the shit out of them.
$1,000 bought your soul. I hope you're not religious. 50 grand bought your soul, son.
Also note, so they arrested one guy there, and look at how many officers were involved in that arrest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-ish. And then they're walking him back, and they've got, where was this here? This shot. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So probably about a dozen guys. And honestly, it's not really overkill. Like they need about that many people for this. Now, my suspicion is that part of the goal here, part of their maybe even explicit instructions that they've been given, is to just first and foremost get out there and start arresting people for any reason whatsoever. And the purpose of these arrests is not to have a chilling effect or anything like. Anybody who's telling you to go out and start arresting them and beating them up to try to make them scared is stupid. That's not going to make them scared. We've been through this enough times already. There is no like use of force that you can come out and use that's gonna just make them scared and make them stop showing up. They're going out there so they can pick some of these people off, bring them in, and start interrogating them. Start getting information out of them. You're going to slap them. You're going to be maximally charged with, I don't know, assaulting federal officers and rioting and whatever else we want to throw at you. You're going to face 25 to life in prison unless you start narking on any information you'll give us. Your organizers, your funders. We're going to be taking your phone. We're going to be going through, getting a full breakdown of your entire network, mapping everything out with everyone. That's the purpose of these arrests. DHS has brought in Gorgon the Destroyer to crack Antifa skulls if they act up tonight at ICE Broadview. Look at this absolute unit of a man. Come on, zoom. Look at that guy. They got the mountain out here. I mean, I don't think that these are just a bunch of short dudes around him. He's just that big. It reminds me of the guy that was running behind Pete Hegseth when Pete Hegseth was out jogging. Gorgon Clegane. Yeah, the guy Hegseth was running with. Imagine getting chased. I wonder what this guy's cardio is like. Can this guy do wind sprints in a gas mask? Because if he can, holy shit. Yeah, that's 6 foot versus 5'11". All the guys around him are 5'11". He's 6 foot. Can confirm. This is Border Patrol agents chasing a man outside a Broadview ICE facility. Man ends up on top of a car and is tackled to the ground after he jumps off. Martin says, something tells me we're going to get a lot of KINO in the coming weeks. Can confirm. All the KINO. Boom!
Give us your hands! Give us your hands open! Put your hands on your back now!
Now watch this guy. Watch this guy right here. He is having the time of his life. Imagine getting paid to just stand there with like a paintball gun there. I don't know what these pellets are that they're firing, because they're not paintballs, but they're like the few people I've seen talking about are calling them like sting bullets or sting rounds or something like that. I don't know what they're made of, but he's just sitting here just walking around, just strafing them, spraying them at the pepper balls. Okay. Spraying them at the Patriot balls. Yeah. Just firing them at the feet of all the cameramen. How much fun would that be? Getting paid to go out there and just walk around the dude being arrested and just firing at the cameraman.
Get back! Get back! Your name is data!
See? Green hat.
behave. Behave. All right, we got your stuff. Look. 1, 2, 3. My keys. Back in the house. Got your keys. It's all good in the corner. Your keys, your phone, your wallet, and your charger. What's up? All right. Guys, give me a shot.
It sounded like the guy that this agent here. He sounds Hispanic.
Keys, your phone, your wallet, and your charger. What's up?
Yeah, wallet.
Guys, give me a shot. We'll take a circle around the back. Y'all keep recording. Y'all keep recording. Off the road. Hey.
Don't sign anything. I think I got a couple more here. Yeah, this one. Federal agent seized shields from Antifa rioters at ICE near Chicago and then started riding through the middle of the crowd with their equipment.
Yeah, let the truck through.
Riding in an F-150 like real Americans. Only the truest of patriots drive F-150s. Yeah, riding the war chariot with some war trophies. This guy's ATF right here. I don't get it.
You're such a big boy. Pointing your guns at citizens on your whole country. Take off your mask, you Nazi.
Imagine if somebody would have told you a couple of years ago that libs would be out in the streets asking people to take their masks off.
Quit your job and save your soul. Terrorizing your neighbors.
Terrorizing our city.
Your whole family is disappointed in you.
These sellouts. Why are they wearing gas masks? To protect them own selves.
Oh, that sounds like an incitement to violence.
Tear gas.
I hear a gay little tranny voice.
Why are you afraid to show your face? Why? Are you embarrassed? Are you embarrassed about what you're doing? Are you ashamed?
Woman in a mask asks why they're embarrassed to show their faces.
You should be ashamed.
You should be ashamed. Why are you ashamed?
They're just such silly little people. Check out this guy, Greg Bovino, the CBP chief, is seen once again with boots on the ground in Chicago. You won't catch him making daily Fox News appearances. It looked like him in the CVS Juan detainment video, too. Look at this guy. Look at this man leading from the front.
Move! Out of the road!
road. All the way out of the road, or I'll put you under arrest. Everyone out of the road. Out of the road. No, bro. Hey, get back.
Whose fucking road is it?
Out of the road.
Because it's you.
All the walls have got to go.
You are the top dog.
Let's fly to Mexico.
Are you above us?
All the walls have got to go.
Is that what it is? For $50,000, you have sold out America. Be proud, boys. Be fucking proud. Jesus Christ.
We protect, we liberate.
Absolute fucking disgrace.
We protect, we liberate.
They say we protect, we liberate?
Let's see, you gonna get to go home Thanksgiving with your family? They won't. They may never ever see them again. But you go, you get your work, man. You got $50,000 worth.
Can't quite make out what they're chanting. But here's this same guy, Greg Bavino. This is Border Patrol Commander at Large, personally bringing in illegal alien to the facility. I'm pretty sure this is still in Chicago. Look at that guy. He's like 60. So what do we got? Come on. What do we got here? We got old white dude, old white dude, old white dude, old white dude, some browns, young white dude. What does that say? Humanizing through story. Oh, photojournalist. Got a couple of scholars. Mexican flag with a motorcycle helmet and knee pads. I'll bet you that guy gets a lot of work out of those knee pads. Yeah, old boomer race traders. When Trump said release them, Portland's Antifa didn't know it came with this kind of energy. Shout out to Katie Daviscourt, good friend of a friend. Here they come. Get him! Watch him drag this guy. Look at him. Again, the way that they're doing this, the way they go out and they just grab one guy and haul him off, I think that the purpose of these arrests is largely to get people to interrogate. DHS. A bunch of Portland natives.
Get the license plate!
Get the license plate.
Hey, there's people in the
This is Portland right here. You've got some sort of gender ambiguous goofball. You've got a Neanderthal looking brown mutt. You've got a little short dude Short little silly looking white dude. And then you've also got all the people with all sorts of different colors of hair. Like this is Portland. So brave. She's going to tell her non-existent grandkids about the day that she stood there in her weird puke green color hair, flipping the bird at a bunch of federal agents. You hear that guy? I'll fucking take you all at once. Yeah, I bet you will. He's not talking about fighting either. So, got a couple posts here from Clandestine. He says, I don't think people understand the magnitude of what just happened. POTUS is sending U.S. military troops to war-ravaged Portland, Antifa's main hub, to protect ICE facilities from endless attacks from Antifa. And this is what Trump said with his truce. He says, at the request of Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem, I am directing Secretary of War Pete Hegseth to provide all necessary troops to protect war-ravaged Portland and any of our ICE facilities under siege from attack by Antifa and other domestic terrorists. So, Kristi Noem has requested that Pete Hegseth provide all necessary troops. I wonder what that includes. That's a rather all-encompassing statement. All necessary troops to protect war-ravaged Portland. I am also authorizing full force if necessary. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Full force authorized. U.S. military in U.S. cities is essentially the Insurrection Act. As for whether or not that's the actual legal avenue Trump utilizes to get troops to Dem-run cities like Portland, the end result is that of the Insurrection Act, whether it's been invoked or not. Antifa is a violent insurrectionist terrorist operation, and Trump is sending in U.S. troops authorized with full force. This is the beginning of the dismantling of Antifa and the left-wing terrorist network nationwide. Trump is eliminating the deep state's brown shirts. It's happening. And then he says Trump's plan is genius. POTUS technically does not need to invoke the Insurrection Act to send U.S. military to defend federal property. It's considered a federal function, not local policing. So Trump can move troops to ICE facilities, have forces in place preemptively. Then, if he chooses to invoke the Insurrection Act, troops will already be in position on standby. The Insurrection Act would be needed if U.S. military were to be engaged in riot control, general law enforcement, or quelling rebellion not on federal property. Trump is putting himself in position so that if he does choose to invoke the Insurrection Act, he already has troops in place at areas of need and can flip the switch at any moment from defense to offense. My guess is that the decision is already made. Trump is getting his ducks in a row before he strikes, which is generally his modus operandi. Battles are won before they begin. And of course, we have to have a Sun Tzu quote. Victorious warriors win first and then go to war, while defeated warriors go to war first, then seek to win. That's why the military hasn't left California, strategically placing troops in the areas that have the highest concentration of leftist force. And Interstate Juche said, I think it's on. Then he said, Trump officially declared Antifa a terrorist organization 10 days ago. The Democrats had plenty of time to totally disavow them. They didn't. That's a very good point. 10 days ago, Trump declared the Antifa a terrorist organization. Any Democrats who wanted to could have disavowed them in the intervening 10 days. They didn't. In fact, they've gone out of their way to embrace them. They've sealed their own fate. Armed troops are deploying to their stronghold. It's on. Now Democrats on the West Coast are running cover for the terrorists. Trump gave them a grace period to extricate themselves from the situation. They just played dumb instead. Wrong move. And Fugitive Caesar, Fugitive Truster, says perfect timing by Trump to send in soldiers on the same week as the government shutdown. Treasury / Scott Bessent can freeze payments that would be indirectly funneled to Antifa. And Giovanni Gisbari says, I would expect there are still means to getting money to them, but if the main noisy channels are shut down, any such attempt will risk shining much brighter. This is also a very good point. They're still going to be able to get funding to them because that funding comes from all over the place. But now, if the official channels, if you suddenly have this drastic reduction in funding flows, then other ones that might have gotten lost in the shuffle are going to get highlighted and pulled up to the surface. So for more on this government shutdown, there's an article here from the Wall Street Journal. Russ Vought's secret shutdown weapon. Remember months and months ago, when I told you guys that Russ Vought is one of the most important members of the administration, one of the architects of Project 2025, deputy director of the Office of Management and Budget in Trump's first term, and now the full director of OMB. Democrats, this is from Wall Street Journal opinion, Democrats will give the Trump team exactly what it's been wanting, a shutdown, in return for Democrats continuing to demand something they will never get. What a deal, writes Kim Strassel. And some key quotes from this. Mr. Trump's biggest second-term transgression, according to opponents, has been his dismantling of the federal apparatus. The Department of Government Efficiency enacted firings or resignation incentives expected to result in 300,000 fewer federal employees by year's end. The president has clawed back grant money and frozen funds. What's an incandescent Democrat to do? Hand him a gift-wrapped opportunity to do more of the same. Obviously. The true scope of this losing proposition came clear with a memo Mr. Vought, director of the Office of Management and Budget, issued Wednesday night explaining how a shutdown will roll. So what it is they have a continuing resolution to just keep the government funded as is. Coming up, September 30th is the deadline. They put forth this continuing resolution. The Democrats and Rand Paul, but I repeat myself, are refusing to vote for it on various grounds. So if they do not pass this continuing resolution, all they're doing is they're saying everything that's been going, just keep it going until we get our full budget bill. And if they do not pass the continuing resolution, which requires 60 votes in the Senate, then the government shuts down. The true scope of this losing proposition came clear with a memo Mr. Vought, director of the Office of Management and Budget, issued Wednesday night explaining how a shutdown will roll. Shutdowns usually mean furloughed federal employees who suffer temporary inconvenience before resuming their jobs. Not this time. The Vought memo orders agencies to identify all programs that depend on discretionary funding, which lapses next week, and don't align with the president's priorities. Employees who administer those disfavored programs or projects won't be furloughed, they will be fired. So here's the position the Democrats are in. They can vote for the continuing resolution and everything continues as it's been going. Or they cannot vote for the continuing resolution. The government will shut down, and any agency program that depends on discretionary funding that does not align with the president's priorities will have all of the employees who administer those programs fired. Not just furloughed as usual, they will be fired. This administration also has every incentive and decent means to lessen shutdown pain for average Americans while maximizing it for Democrats. The Trump team has already listed the programs that will continue regardless of shutdown. Social Security, Medicare, military operations, veteran benefits, border security, and air traffic control. The recent reconciliation bill helps ensure they function. Remember that? Remember that recent reconciliation bill? The one big beautiful bill? It's almost like they were planning ahead. They additionally have the experience of 2018 when they weathered the longest shutdown in modern times, 35 days, thanks to creative use of doctrines that allowed them to keep some discretionary programs ticking. The architect of much of that nimble maneuvering was Mark Paoletta, who in 2018 was OMB's general counsel. He is back in that role. Isn't it beautiful? Excellent. Wonderful. From Unseen One. Says Trump knew the only power the Dems had left in D.C. was in the Senate with the filibuster. He knew they would try to use that to get their funding for illegals, NGOs, and pet projects. That's why he fully funded everything he needed for his MAGA agenda in the One Big Beautiful Bill. Remember when we talked about this? Remember how one of the big important reasons for getting the One Big Beautiful Bill passed, regardless of precisely the details of how it passed, just getting it passed meant that Trump would not be beholden to Congress to fund anything else that he needed. Now those chickens are coming home to roost. They have zero leverage on him. Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries have been trying to say, oh, we're going to hold this hostage. We're not going to give you the 7 or 8 votes that you would need to pass the continuing resolution unless you give us trillions of dollars in fraud, essentially. And Trump's like, how about I don't do that? Because everything that I need is already funded. If the government shuts down, all my stuff keeps going. But your stuff gets cooked. And we're going to fire a bunch of your apparatchiks if you shut the government down. So you can vote for the continuing resolution and be on the record with having Democrat congressmen voting with the Republicans to keep the government funded. Or you can choose not to, and we'll shut the government down, we'll fire a bunch of the people administering the programs you guys depend upon, and we'll just keep going as we have. Your choice. Heads I win, tails you lose. With the passage of the One Big Beautiful Bill, it doesn't matter if the Dems shut down the government. His agenda is fully funded. The Dems can't stop the wall with the shutdown. They can't stop deportations with the shutdown. They can't stop the tax cuts, deregulation, increased military pay, the Golden Dome, or push the U.S. into default with a credit ceiling. Remember who wanted to set them up so that the Dems could push the U.S. into default with the credit ceiling? Oh yeah, Rand Paul. Remember Rand Paul was like, no, we're not going to do the $5 trillion increase to the ceiling. We're just going to say $500 billion, and then you got to come back again. At this point, it's transparently obvious that Rand Paul is a traitor. He's entirely in it for himself, and is either for his own sake, for whatever he's getting paid, he is willing to work with Democrats to advance the Democrat agenda, or he just transparently is just working for them. Heads I tails you lose. Sluttermook says, oh yeah, almost like they are highly competent operators with a plan. How can you not believe that they have a plan? These things keep happening. These things keep happening, and yet people insist to me that there is no plan. How do you live in this fantasy world?
The white man is back, baby! The white man is back!
I hate to point it out, but the crossover between always chimp panicans and heritage American seems to be a perfect circle. The reason I got off X was because I was tired of people like Angela and Wo fagging out.
Tip from Ruthuglican. Yeah, there's the always chimp and panicking types, they mean well. I think they do. But there's just so much evidence now. There's so much evidence that there is a plan. And if we truly were at the right on the precipice, and everything's going to fall apart, the nation's going to descend into complete and irrevocable chaos, and we're all going to die and never be able to have a house and a nation again, then, like, if that was actually the case, then crashing out over things like, oh, an ICE agent got fired, even though he didn't. But like crashing out over something like that is if you actually believe that things were that bad, you wouldn't be on the internet crashing out over the fact that some ICE agent got fired. Like, whoop-de-doo. We're all gonna die anyways. Who cares if that guy got fired? He was just gonna die tomorrow anyways. It's gonna go on. A year from now, America will still be here. 2 years from now, America will still be here. 5 years from now, America will still be here. Yes, things are bad. Yes, things are going to get worse. There's going to be more violence. There's going to be more chaos. But things are also going to get better. We will weather this storm. America's not dying. America is maturing. America is going through its bipolar teenage years. And there are many reasons to look up. Now, on a personal level, yes, you should be very much on your guard. You should have a plan personally for protecting yourself, for networking with people around you to protect yourselves in the events of wild things happening. Because wild things are going to happen. But we're going to have an election in 2026. And then we're going to have an election in 2028. And then we're going to have midterms in 2030. And we're going to have another election in 2032. These things are going to happen. There is no utility for anyone to crash out over every little piece of bad news. This is part of the thing of being extremely online. It totally distorts your sense of your sense and perspective of time and the scale of things. We are going to live in a world, in a nation where in certain parts of the nation, there is straight up like city blocks on fire. This has happened before. City blocks on fire, people being gunned down in the streets, political assassinations, really dark stuff happening. While at the exact same time, in other parts of the country, the sun will be shining and the birds will be twittering, and you'll drive down to the gas station and you'll get some gas and you'll wave to your neighbor and you'll go over to the diner and you'll get some breakfast and life will continue as normal. Both of these things are going to happen in parallel simultaneously. And if you're feeling that neurotic sense of anxiety, it's all over, if you're feeling that, it's not real. Just pull yourself out of the 24-second news cycle and just go spend a few days working on a hobby or go walk for an extra hour a day. Go listen to some classical music. Go read a book. Just check yourself out of the constant relentless hum. Go watch some sports. Pick up an instrument. Go meet up with some friends and go shooting. No matter what happens, you're not going to be useful at all if you're in this state of relentless, constant, neurotic panic. It's going to make you worse for your own self, and it's going to make you worse for everybody around you. The thing that will carry us through, America's going to pull through this no matter what. The only question is what it's going to look like at the end of it. We get to have an imprint on what it's going to look like. But we need to be stable, confident, hopeful, optimistic, uplifting, and relentlessly manifesting the good things that we want to see. We have the most competent leadership that we have ever had within our life, within the lifetimes of any person who's alive right now. We have the most competent leadership. And that leadership isn't going to change anytime soon. And you don't get a special reward for being the first one to predict that some bad thing is going to happen. You don't get brownie points for being the one who called it. So there's no utility in like falling all over yourself to try to predict the next bad thing. The only possible thing you could do is manifest the bad thing. Meme it into reality. So if you're going to put all of this effort into memeing something into reality, then put it into memeing the good things into reality. Because that works. Kate says these people simply lack the emotional and mental continence to have any kind of influence in the right-wing thought sphere. Yep. They'll burn out hard. Straight Buster says, you survived the summer of George, Anon. This too shall pass. I saw a picture the other day of Washington, D.C. from the air with fires just everywhere, all around it. Let me see if I can find that. Because this really, like, when I saw it, it really put it into perspective for me. Yeah, right here. Let me see if I can find a good version of it. We lived through this. Look at that. Oh, come on. Big gay-ass play button. Hold on, let me try to zoom this here. You got to look quick, I guess, because I can't just pause it on the image. But DC on fire. This is years ago. 5 years ago. Look at these pictures. We lived through this. I'm sure this will happen again. We'll get more images like this. But we lived through this. And look where we are today. Minneapolis. If you live in a place where it's likely that this sort of thing is really going to get bad, and that's going to seriously affect you or your family, then maybe you need to take some sort of drastic action to get out of there. That's for sure. You should absolutely be coordinating and organizing with your boys, setting up local networks for training, for political organizing, for being able to pass supplies and stuff around with each other, have some bug out plans, those kinds of things. Like, those are absolutely important and good to have. But don't spend so much time dwelling on all of the bad stuff that's happening that it gets you psyched out. If you're feeling like you're gonna doom, log off. It's not worth it. It's not worth having a minute-by-minute breakdown of everything that's happening if it gets you off your game. If it gets you angry, depressed, fearful, neurotic, anxious. And go follow this guy. Maybe you're someone who's got some time on your hands and you want to You want to start getting more active in your community, in your neighborhood, building out a plan. Go follow Gray Zone Intel. Mike Shelby, Powerful Mutual on X. Former intelligence NCO and contractor, OEF and OIF veteran. He has his area intelligence handbook, and he's been posting a lot of really, really good stuff. Like this. Everyone has to be an information collector now. You can do it passively or actively, but you must be collecting local info. I'm going to do another live webinar soon, 1 hour, free training on how to set up a local intel cell. Some elections, like school board races, are nonpartisan, allegedly, in my state. Look up those people's personal campaign donations on Open Secrets and see which parties they're affiliated with. All other signs, note the party, then introduce yourself if appropriate. This is talking about people in your neighborhood. My neighborhood had one Harris sign and the guy's retired from NSA. My precinct went 80% Trump. Always put that kind of stuff in your area study. Many of you will have local elections this November. Start looking for signs. The number one mistake governments make in counterinsurgency by far is waiting too long to act. It's good to see this getting shut down, but it's a long road ahead and it will get worse before it gets better. Federal agents blitzing Antifa rioters at the ICE Broadview facility. He had some other good ones. Let me see if I can find a couple here. This one was funny. If you had a time machine, Hitler or Muhammad? I put a bunch of my reporting and over 100 links to news events into ChatGPT and asked this. Give me the historical conflict most similar to U.S. current events and most likely future. A single declarative sentence. The conflict in the United States most closely parallels and is most likely to evolve into a modern, nationwide version of Northern Ireland's low-intensity troubles. That should give you a little framework to predict around. Let me see if I can find a couple more of his. He's been firing off a lot of really good advice for what you can do locally with your own network and stuff. In an information war, the left are not your target. Spectators are. The people whose opinion you can still influence. You're never going to win over a leftist, but you can win over a moderate against the leftist. This is your goal at the tactical and strategic level. Keep this in mind. Your Glock and AR-15 are really good at solving a very narrow set of tactical problems, but they're really bad at solving everything else. So if an AR is the only tool you have, lots of problems aren't getting solved. You should probably rectify that. ForwardObserver.com is his website. You can get his latest thoughts on conflict, crisis, and collapse. He said, for those asking, how about a local intelligence network? Some support guys, local political influence, your guy on the inside at City Hall, a friend on the sheriff's department, a contact who works at the local paper or news station, etc., etc. He's been dropping a lot of really good stuff like this. So go give the man a follow. And I was going to hit this at the end, but I'll just bring this up now because it's relevant. This is from that shooting and fire today. This is a picture that's been going around. And I haven't seen a follow-up whether this was actually associated with the shooter at this Mormon church. But obviously got the flags in the back. Surf said false flags. And Diomedes Appreciator says very effective too. The left can say, see, it's red-blooded Americans shooting up their own people. Look at this image. Look at image of flag. Kindergartner teacher says was conservative. With every mainstream news org parroting the narrative, you have an uphill battle convincing normal people. And John Q. Public says, who cares about convincing normal people? They shift with the wind anyway. Aren't you the one always talking about the importance of small but extremely committed groups for making change? And he says there is a difference between expecting normal people to wake up and spring into action to throw off our enemies. There's a difference between that and convincing them you are the more legitimate force so that your committed group has freedom to act. In a low-intensity conflict like we are in, this is a huge factor. The normal person will lend their weight to whoever seems more legitimate, and that's usually decisive. Luxaperii, Powerful Mutual, says legitimacy as measured by the tacit support of normal people seems historically essential to success, to the point that it might even be indistinguishable from success itself. I suppose you could argue it is in many ways the end goal itself. And Diomedes Appreciator says, yeah, I get what he's asking because I do often say it takes a committed few. But I'm talking about to act. Most people are never going to overtly act in that way. You still need to win them over. Definitely not Bob says, it makes all the difference in the world. It's the difference between giving a freedom fighter in need a blanket, a plate of food, and medical assistance, or alerting his enemies to his location. And this is part of the reason, part of what I'm talking about when I say that the administration must move intentionally and deliberately and necessarily more slowly than we would like them to, because they need to maintain that sense of normalcy as much as possible. It's just a feature of the system as it is right now. They cannot be perceived by a critical mass of the majority of normies that says that they cannot be perceived as being the provocative or escalating factor. Which means in many cases, in order for them to maintain their legitimacy, to hold things together for the time being, while they continue to amass political capital, they have to react to escalations. They could preempt as many things as they can, but if they begin to appear as if they're escalating, that they're provoking the escalations, they will lose legitimacy in the eyes of the people. It's a very difficult game. This is why I say, pray for them. Relentlessly, as often as you can. Pray for them for wisdom. And don't put more work on their plate. Don't give them more to deal with. They don't need a subset of chihuahuas nipping at them constantly from their own side. They are the leadership that we are going to have as we navigate through the worst of the next few years. There's no replacing them. There is no other alternative. So even if you are unenthused by them, you don't think they're competent, you don't like them. Yeah, they don't need a nagging girlfriend. That's right. Even if you are disgusted by them, they are all that we have, and they are all we're going to get. So make their job easier. If you think that they're leaving slack, pick up the slack yourself in whatever way you can. Yeah, Mr. Stu. J.D. Vance said himself after Charlie died that justice will be delivered, but it will be long, slow, and painful. That's right. Thank you for reminding me that. I was going to bring that up today. He said himself, we are going to be moving slower at many times than you would like. He says, we may even be moving slower than I would like. But he said in no uncertain terms, we know what time it is. We know what time it is. We are taking the actions necessary, but because of the nature of our system and the nature of what time it actually is, we must move slowly. And I know nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear the federal government has to move slowly. But that's what it takes to retain legitimacy. And if that doesn't make sense to you, you should spend some more time around normies. You've gotten yourself into a bubble, into an echo chamber of people who all are as radical and autistic as you are. I've had this conversation with a number of different people recently who have people in their own lives, people they know regularly, who are perfectly ordinary good people who don't have the foggiest sense that there is a network of domestic terrorists embedded around the country engaged in active treasonous violence being facilitated and supported by the Democrat Party and its operatives. That type of person is vastly more common than the type of person who's like, Trump administration, do everything necessary. The people will support you. No. Not right now, they won't. You might support them. Your group chat might support them. But a huge number of people will not support them. And electoral considerations are not some sort of like self-centered, what do you call it? Like sort of like an adjacent consideration. They're an extremely important consideration. Because if you want them to get to the point where they can begin getting more aggressive and being more proactive, they need to consolidate their power more. Which means they need to get through the midterms and increase their majority in Congress. Become even more legitimate in the eyes of the people. And they need the Democrats to continue revealing more and more exactly who and what they are. Here's another big win. Not going to catch a ton of headlines. Your local Panikin probably won't tell you about this, but Russ Vought himself says major victory. The Supreme Court rules 6-3 to allow Trump's pocket rescission of $4 billion in foreign aid funding, ruling that it's unlikely the group suing have standing to pursue the claim and that Trump's foreign policy power outweighs their purported harms. Now we're getting pocket rescissions. $4 billion here, $10 billion there, $13 billion there, $20 billion over here. This stuff's going to start adding up. It's going to become quite substantial. And more importantly, it's laying the ground, it's establishing precedent, consolidating this unitary executive theory, the president's absolute authority over all executive agencies, and his ability to spend or not spend what he deems appropriate within the funds appropriated by Congress. This is a significant win for Trump in a battle over the power of the purse and could make it even more difficult for Congress to reach a deal to avoid a shutdown, either now or in future negotiations. Supreme Court clears way for Trump to withhold $4 billion in foreign aid approved by Congress. The ruling is not a final decision on the broader question of the president's power to unilaterally impound congressionally appropriated funding. But we're getting more and more indicators that the ultimate decision on the Impoundment Control Act, which goes all the way back to Nixon, more and more indicators that the Supreme Court is ultimately going to fall on the side of the president and his absolute right to impound or withhold any funds that he deems appropriate. So here's America's mayor. Rudy Giuliani believes that the little 2-page indictment of James Comey is going to unfold into the big RICO indictment and will probably bring Comey, Brennan, and a whole bunch of others down. Giuliani, who is truly an expert on RICO charges, he's the one who brought down the mafia, explains that the crime was collectively committed by Obama, government agencies, and even members of Congress like Adam Schiff. He even explains why Schiff is going to go down, and I'm all here for it. Shout out to America's mayor. Pray for him that he continues to recover from his car accident. You can see the assassination attempt, I should say. You can see he's still got this brace here because he, if I remember right, he had a couple of vertebrae shattered. Let me put this at 1.25. I can tell now that we're going to have to hold off on the Yarvin piece for now. I'll see if it's still appropriate and if I can read it once I get back from our Seattle vacation. But I've got some videos here talking about the arrests, the stuff with James Comey, and even one of them here is going to be from 48 himself. So here is America's mayor.
He should have been indicted 4 or 5 years ago based on his lying in the Pfizer application and hiding the criminality and the lack of verification of of the main document that was used in it, which all the liars, and they're all going to go to jail for it, said wasn't the main document, except if you read the affidavit, it's the main document. I mean, what are they going to do? Rewrite the if they could, they rewrite the affidavit. But that'll probably bring him, Brennan, and a whole bunch of others down when they get around to taking that little 2-page indictment and make it into the big RICO indictment that it can become and encompass the various episodes of the crime they were committing. This crime was episodic. It was not singular. Crime begins maybe earlier, but certainly with the scheme by Hillary Clinton to pay money for the Steele affidavit. And at least $1.1 million laundered through the law firm Perkins Coie, described falsely as a legal fee, when in fact it was a fee for counter research, for false research. The research purported to be developed in Russia. Steele never went to Russia, hadn't been to Russia for 17 years. He produced it in Ukraine. The charge of Russian collusion was completely untrue. The charge of Ukrainian collusion in the Hillary Clinton Democratic Party campaign was 100% true. They all knew it, including right up to the president of the United States of America. Comey knew it, Brennan knew it, and assisted in it, particularly the CIA-type plots with Papadopoulos came out of the CIA.
I can't remember if it was included in this video or where I saw it just recently. It might be another video coming up, but the Steele dossier cost $168,000 to put together, and then it was $1.1 million that was paid for it. There's a pretty profitable enterprise there. $1.1 million, as legal fees, but was actually just paying for a political hit piece to be laundered through a presidential campaign and directly into the FBI and the DOJ.
It was an all-hands operation to try to destroy Donald Trump. When it failed to destroy Donald Trump, which they thought it would, probably the moment at which we know they failed is when Peter Strzok, who was their operative, said to his girlfriend, "There's no there." She was very concerned, and he said the magic words that now go into episode 2 of the long-term conspiracy that really is going to be the culmination of this case. He said, we have an insurance policy. But the insurance policy is not another case. The insurance policy is to take the case they actually disproved, the case that they now know is completely phony and paid for, and just try to revive it and use it for the basis of impeachment and taking known false testimony, not false testimony, an entire false plot that they had paid for, and they knew they had paid for it, and use it to remove a lawfully elected president, supported by lies from all over, including from the Prince of Obama and from Shifty Schiff. By the way, somebody on one of the stations, it probably was Newsmax, because I don't listen to Fox much anymore, and I love Newsmax, but I will ask you to please check with me when you start saying legal things. One of the things that was just assumed with one of your legal experts was you can't prosecute Shifty Schiff because of the speech and debate clause in the United States Constitution. I've been dying to prosecute Shifty Schiff for a long time. You'll even see it in my book. I was all ready to put him in my RICO case. Shifty Schiff made a very big mistake. Everything he said and more in Congress, he said on television. What you say on television, what you say in public is not covered by the speech and debate clause. So if you are saying things and doing things that are furthering the conspiracy of removing a lawfully elected president, the conspiracy to defraud, the conspiracy maybe to commit espionage, and you're not doing it just on the floor of the House or Senate, you're perfectly as prosecutable as me. If you're holding up a list and you say, I have witnesses here, right? I have witnesses here that can prove and have direct evidence of Trump's being involved in Russian collusion. And to this day, you haven't produced any of them. I think there's a fair conclusion that you were furthering the conspiracy to remove a lawfully elected president. Do you know he did that on television? He did not do that. I have the tape. I have the video. We were ready for impeachment on that, and we would have knocked the shit out of him, and maybe got him put in jail. Well, that can still be done as part of a RICO case, as long.
So what he's saying here is that the stuff that Schiff said on the floor of Congress, you may not be able to, because of the speech and debate clause, you may not be able to prosecute him for that. But if he's repeating the same stuff when he goes out on television, That's absolutely prosecutable.
As long as the RICO case comes into the statute of limitations, all the prior RICO activity comes in. So
one other thing as well, with this James Comey indictment that came down, do you realize the statute of limitations on that expired September 30th? The U.S. attorney who was in charge of that prosecution, Eric Siebert, was slow walking it, trying to get to the statute of limitations expiration so that they could no longer get him on lying to Congress. Trump posts this truce to Pam Bondi, where he says, Pam, I've seen people who were saying that we're losing our credibility and stuff because we're not pursuing this aggressively enough, and everyone's like, oh, nothing's going to happen. And he says, get on it. And everyone took this as oh, see, Pam's not doing her job. See, he's mad at her. I told you she's terrible. Fire her. Well, like half an hour later, he posted again. First, he deleted that other one, and then he posted again and said, Pam Bondi is wonderful and excellent, and I'm so proud of her, and she's doing a wonderful job. And there were some people who said, oh, Trump's senile. This is supposed to be an email, and he accidentally sent it as a truce instead. Like what do you think? He opens his phone, and he's like, oh, I need to send an email to Pam Bondi. Let me open Truth Social and post it there. Not to mention, you guys saw the Tucker Carlson documentary. He's got his hot blonde who does all of his posting for him. He dictates it, and she posts it. Obviously, it was intentionally done publicly as a signal, perhaps. But he posts that. Then Pam Bondi fires this Eric Siebert guy, replaces him with Lindsay Halligan, and within 3 days, one of his former personal attorneys, within 3 days, the indictment is handed down. And this is not an indictment from Pam Bondi. This is an indictment from a grand jury, a liberal grand jury. Handed down that indictment.
when they say the case is barred by the statute of limitations, please, I'm the expert on RICO, not them. Come to me, okay? I get so frustrated. Lucky I don't have a tendency to get an ulcer. I mean, with a broken back and an ulcer, it would be really tough. No, it wouldn't.
We need to make sure, over the next couple of years, we need to make sure that there is a statue to Rudy Giuliani built somewhere. This man is the ultimate patriot. The shit that he has been put through. The absolute dragging of his name, his reputation. He's had he's had assets seized, an assassination attempt that broke his back, and here he is, back out here, continuing his work. The man is an American legend, an absolute patriot, and he deserves his own statue. Yeah, Giuliani is the RICO king. He knows his shit. He's not just some like boomer with a mic doing a podcast thing. He knows his shit when it comes to RICO.
These guys motivate me. They get me better. For my country.
So is this this is just the beginning? Do we expect to see more? First,
I expect the moon, my friend. I expect the moon. I remember, I have in my mind the cases that I started with a 1-count indictment against a single person, and then I flipped 10 people, and I had a 70-person indictment.
You hear that? These cases that I started with a single indictment on a single person that turned into a 70-person indictment. The king of RICO. So a lot of people have been like, oh, this Comey case seems kind of thin, you know, just a couple of counts, and we need all these other arrests. It only starts with one. It just takes one.
I remember those days. I remember those days.
Oops, I got these out of order. Following up that then. So, Rudy Giuliani, who has been a close loyalist for Trump for a very long time, and has been talking about RICO with Trump for a very long time, and Trump's making lots of RICO sounds lately. Well, here, Rudy says, I've got all these cases that I remember, we're going to start with one. You get that one indictment for one person. And then you can supersede it and pull a bunch more people in. Well, here's what J.D. Vance says.
Others, and in the past he has listed Adam Schiff and Letitia James. Do you think there are more indictments coming, and do you think that's justified?
Well, there's certainly going to be more indictments coming over the next 3.5 years of the Trump administration, but we're always going to let the law drive this stuff and the facts of the case and not political motivations, which frankly makes us so much different from the Biden administration, where they indicted not just the President of the United States, but so many people who were...
Note the black suit and black tie. It's a very interesting look.
Just engaged in the basic job of politics, who were engaged in policymaking, who disagreed with the Biden administration, and because that they faced prosecution from that same administration. If you look at the Comey indictment, Martha, this was a grand jury indictment delivered in Alexandria, Virginia, not exactly a hotbed of Donald Trump's political support. There were three requested indictments. The grand jury returned 2 of those 3 indictments. So I think they showed they were judicious. I think that it showed clearly that there were a couple of things that James Comey did wrong. And to the people who are saying that this is all political, I mean, look, if you look at our track record in the Trump administration, there have been people who have been prosecuted, who have been political allies, who agree with our politics. There have been people who disagree with our politics. We're not letting politics drive this. We're letting the requirements of the justice system and the law drive this. And unfortunately for James Comey, when I look at this indictment, I see a guy who lied under oath. And he'll have his day in court. He'll have his opportunity to prove the other case in front of the jury. But the idea that this is driven by politics, I think is preposterous when you actually read the details of the indictment and the obvious fact that James Comey did lie under oath to Congress multiple times.
All right, we'll see where it goes.
These are the types of comments that I think are necessary from the administration to, like, for those of us who are like deep in this all the time, who have been following this stuff super closely for maybe like a decade or more, you may not want to hear stuff like, well, we're not allowing ourselves to be driven by politics. It's not motivated by politics. We're going to let the law go where it was. These are the sorts of things that you say when you're on Fox News Sunday talking to a bunch of boomers, talking to the generic normie audience. No, we're completely impartial. We're the president. I'm the president for everyone. I'm the president for all Americans. This is we're completely normal, moderate centrists. We totally believe in the system. The system is perfect and beautiful. Our founders were brilliant. They gave us this wonderful document called the Constitution, and we've got separation of powers. You are what is it? You're like a radical centrist in the streets, and you're a moderate centrist in the streets, and radical extremist in the sheets. Good rhetoric. Here's Devin Nunes, chairman of the President's Intelligence Advisory Board, talking to Maria Bartiromo to discuss the Comey indictment and potential grand conspiracy charges against, quote, 24 characters in the United States. Now, Devin Nunes was one of the first people to uncover what was happening with Russiagate. He was a key mentor to Kash Patel and has been close to the Trump administration for a long time. He's now part of the President's Intelligence Advisory Board. And here he is talking to Maria Bartiromo. What's interesting is Pam Bondi was scheduled to be on this as well with him and Maria, and she did not show up for some reason. Yeah, Devin Nunes has been based on USS Liberty for decades. Yeah, Devin Nunes is a patriot.
Devin, thanks very much for being here this morning. Give us your reaction to the indictment of Jim Comey.
I think Comey should consider himself lucky, Maria. Number one, that he wasn't treated like Roger Stone was treated, who had a very similar charge where they actually raided his home at 6 a.m., drug him out. And that was before they had actually called the CNN camera so that they could go and get it all on camera. So that didn't happen to him. Secondly...
And I know that I personally would love to see that happen to James Comey, but it's actually a sign of great prudence and intelligence by the administration that they are not doing that. You might say that they can't do that they don't have the control over the agencies necessary to do that, which is potentially fair. But That's the sort of host-scaring behavior that would undermine their legitimacy. I know you got that thirst for like, oh, I want to see them get the same thing that our guys got. That is a bad thing too. That's a precedent you don't want to follow. The time for that, maybe a decade from now, perhaps. If we get to the point a decade from now where it's necessary to treat people like that, treat the political enemies like that, that will be a bad sign. That's a sign of lack of power. That's a sign of lack of legitimacy. You're having to overcompensate for a lack of legitimacy. Even if they did have the power, I don't know if the administration actually has the control over the agency sufficient to pull something like that off. I know that they did do the big raid on John Bolton's house. They didn't have any problem doing that. So I think they probably could have done it with Jim Comey if they wanted to. But it's better that they don't. Yes, there is a double standard. Yes, the American people are going to view the actions of the Trump DOJ differently than they viewed the actions of the Biden DOJ. When the Biden DOJ did it, the vast majority of people were probably like, oh, that's kind of concerning, but whatever. Roger Stone, he's kind of a loon. Jim Comey is distinguished FBI director. Prosecuting him is an edgy enough thing on its own. Going and like making a big show of raiding his house and walking him out in leg irons, that's host-scaring behavior. The administration has to be very, very careful when they choose to employ the host-scaring behavior. It's much better if they move quietly and gradually constrict. Nothing big and dramatic. They don't need to do that. That's damaging to their legitimacy. It was damaging to the Biden DOJ's legitimacy when they did that. What happened? For all the people who were like wanting to see the Trump FBI and the Trump DOJ and the Trump DHS and everything, who are wanting to see them mirror the naked show of power stuff that the Democrats did when they were in power. How did that work out for the Democrats? They're not in power now, are they? Well, it would be doubly the case for the Trump administration if they behave that way. So yes, like I understand that urge, that just want to see Comey in a jumpsuit with a bag over his head, getting marched down. Yes, that would be extremely gratifying. But it would be an own goal. Yeah, Trent Fearer. Indulging those urges is what costs the left their power. We must never make the left look like the underdog. That's a banger. That's a rider down right there. We must never make the left look like the underdog. Everything that I've said over the last several labes reduced down to a single sentence. We must never make the left look like the underdog. That's exactly what they want. They want to look like the underdog. Don't give that to them. Proceed with dignity and don't give them the opportunity to play up the martyrdom thing, because they're going to do it anyways. So it needs to look like it needs to look like they're trying to play it up for political points when they do it. Don't gratify them with that. Yeah, a vulgar display of power. We don't need any vulgar displays of power. If you think that needs to happen, it's because you want to see it. And you don't understand the normie. The normie does not want to see vulgar displays of power from the Trump administration. Maybe the Vance administration might be able to get away with that. Particularly in a second term, potentially. But definitely not this administration.
What also didn't happen to him is what happened to General Flynn, where Comey himself admitted that they ambushed Flynn in the White House, charged him on very similar charges, even though the FBI agents themselves said that they didn't believe that Flynn had lied. And oh, by the way, that information had leaked out on General Flynn, that they then misled the American public about what actually General Flynn said. So look, Comey has long been a liar, a leaker. He's dishonest. He ruined the FBI. And I would just lastly say this about this indictment is He's also going to be very lucky if there's not a superseding indictment, but I'd say most importantly, he will be lucky if there is not a grand conspiracy charge brought, which is really what should be brought against probably about 24 characters in the United States over the last 7-8 years.
There's that superseding indictment language again.
That's what I want to talk about. The conspiracy charge, will that come, and what does that mean, the conspiracy charge? Because John Ratcliffe also brought that up to me, saying the statute of limitations does not apply if it's a conspiracy that's still going on.
Yeah, that's right. And so when you go back and look at this at 50,000 feet, what are we really talking about here? What actually happened that they were all involved in? It all goes back to really one thing, and that was that there were 30,000 emails that Clinton had that Clinton was worried would come out before the 2016 election. And then if those came out, it would make her unelectable. That's what this is all about. Everything goes back to that. And then what happened is that Comey and company and all of them got involved in the so-called Clinton plan, which, if you remember, the Clinton plan was to do what? To say that the Trump campaign was colluding with the Russians, and that's how the emails got out. It's all true. That's all happened. That's like the quintessential definition of conspiracy.
Unbelievable. So I want to know from you is who else do you believe should be indicted? You just said there should be dozens more who should be affected here. And also the chance of further charges against Jim Comey. Is it just lying and obstruction or something more? Stay right there. We want to talk about that when we come back. I'm with Devin Nunes this morning, and we'll be right back. Is number one, should there be more charges against Jim Comey? And number two, should there be more indictments? What do you think?
So on Comey, I think the answer is for this, it's very specific, and it's over whether or not he lied on this one part. The larger part is whether or not you can bring a kind of grand conspiracy case. And, people talk about, there's the law, which is, lying to Congress, lying to the FBI, but there's also a term in there called misleading. And what a lot of these guys did is they made up things using intelligence that didn't exist, but acted like they knew something that actually wasn't there, and they lied and misled the American people. And by doing that, all the times they testified before Congress, the Senate, they lied over and over and again with this, oh, we've seen something, we can't tell you about it because it's classified. But what do we now know by everything that's been declassified is that they didn't have any intelligence on Russia colluding with Trump. In fact, the only intelligence that they had is that the Russians were very well aware of Clinton's plan, and they actually not only thought Clinton was going to win, but likely preferred that she would win. So going back to the cover-up of her missing emails, that, by the way, are still missing, they all got involved in this plan. They all got the FBI exercise. They were able to go spy on the Trump campaign. They were able to then get the Mueller witch hunt going that then led to the Ukraine. Remember, that dies off. Then you have the fake whistleblower and the Ukraine impeachment. I mean, that needs a whole investigation in and of itself. We now know the latest information that happened on January 6th now with, agents that were out there, the pipe bombs, all this other stuff that is, who broke the windows that I asked when I was in Congress. I really wanted to know that. But most importantly, Maria, who's the victim in this? The victim is President Trump and his family.
Yeah.
They raided
right.
Mar-a-Lago. That's a problem, and we need answers to that.
The FBI agents on January 6th thing was very interesting. Apparently, there was like 274 FBI agents who were there in the crowd, plain clothes. And I've been hearing some rumblings and stuff, seeing some people talking about that there are a bunch of different FBI agents who were objecting to the politicization of the FBI under Christopher Wray, and were while Christopher Wray was going in front of Congress and saying, no, that's never happened, that's not happening, we don't have any dissent within the FBI or anything like that. Meanwhile, rumor has it that there's a bunch of FBI agents who are now starting to speak up, similar to what happened within the CIA when Tulsi Gabbard was releasing the stuff about when she first started dropping all of the Russiagate stuff, and they had career members of the CIA who came out and talked about how Brennan and Clapper and the way that they were going about creating the dossier had them upset. They were like, this is not good. We don't like this. They were coming out and beginning to whistleblow. Rumor has it that there are FBI agents who, a substantial number of them, who are coming out as whistleblowers now against the treatment of conservatives in and around January 6th. So we'll see what comes of that. It could wind up being nothing. It could be a something. We will see. But the very last thing I'm going to leave you guys with here is, as we're talking about Democrats being arrested, I think that things are going to have to escalate further than they have so far, which again is just the name of the game. The Trump administration's in the difficult spot where they kind of have to let things happen and then react to them. They can't really get aggressively proactive if they're doing stuff that's really outside the norm. But I feel like the way this is escalating, someone in and around Gavin Newsom, if not Gavin Newsom himself, is going to wind up getting arrested before 2028. Here is some tweets from the Governor Newsom press office. Josh Steinman says, I spent 15 years first on the ground and then at the highest levels of our national security apparatus. Here's how I read these tweets. So, tweet number 1. Trump has fired the top federal prosecutor in Sacramento because she insisted on following the law. Wake up, America. Democracy is on the brink. Tweet number 1 is framing. An hour later, Trump spreads fear. Patriots spread love. Do your part this weekend. Attack timing. So here's the framing. An hour later, you get the attack timing. And then the target. 2 hours after that. Stephen Miller is a fascist. This is the Governor Newsom press office Twitter account calling a hit on Stephen Miller. That's exactly what this is. Just like Jim Comey doing his little go for a walk and, oh, look at this fascinating little arrangement of shells I found on the beach, where it says 8647. That was a calling for a hit on Donald Trump. This is exactly what they're doing. It's totally transparent. They know what they're doing. We know what they're doing. They know that we know what they're doing. Pray for our Giga Jew. Pray for all the members of the Trump administration. All the important characters we have come to love. Because this stuff is going to keep happening. They're going to keep upping the ante. That's all I got. And so the time arises. Arises? So the time arrives. The last lab of September. I gotta go pack my bags. Gotta get down to the hotel so Eastwood can go swim in the hotel pool. And I will be back on October 9th. Nope, there are no tips. No tips waiting to be played. I played the tips that we got. He's going to bed. Yeah, Eastwood doesn't get to swim. Yeah, I got to go pack up. We got to get headed out over there. Got to go get ourselves some dinner. Get on down there. Pray for us to have a safe flight, for it to be as uneventful as possible. My wife hates flying, so pray for us. And go follow the King Pill Telegram channel. I'll post out there if any interesting things come up. October 9th. October 9th is the day that I will be back. We fly back on October 8th. We'll be getting in late in the evening. And so I'll be back for another lab on October 9th. And that's October 9th. The 9th of October. On October 9th, I will be back with another lab. Is that enough? October 9th? So go follow me on Twitter, @RealKingPilled. I will be tweeting while I'm gone. Go join the King Pill Discord, kingpill.com. Good chance that I'll probably do a voice chat at some point. I'll check in with everyone, and there's basically nowhere in the house that's quiet and away from everyone else. But I'll do my best. So if you wanna be involved in something like that, make sure you go join the King Pill Discord at kingpilled.com. And of course, if you would like to continue, I still got to pay bills and everything, and this is my income. This is my job, my full-time job. So if you would like to contribute to my streamer salary while I'm gone, you can use the Streamlabs link. Go to tips.kingpill.com, and when I get back, I will make sure that I read them all, play them all, and also Venmo, Cash App, buy me a coffee. It's just at KingPilled on Venmo and Cash App and buymeacoffee.com/KingPilled. And yeah, I'll miss you guys. I think this is probably going to be the longest I've ever gone without doing a show. So hopefully you don't forget me while I'm gone. But for now, I'm going to leave you with Hulk.
When they took a shot at my hero, and they tried to kill the next president of the United States, enough was enough. And I said, let Trump-a-mania